Hi, I'm Carl Pearson, and this is about the middle class. In other videos, I've discussed how there is an intentional destruction of the middle class, and I've also talked about the difficulties that have been created to prevent the poor from joining the middle class. So this is a video to discuss the importance of the middle class to a country. I've been a member of the middle class for my entire life, and next month I'll be 84 years old. I've had a long time to think about the middle class, and I want to share my thoughts, which are probably more relevant today to me than ever before. Wikipedia states in part that the middle class is a class of people in the middle of a social hierarchy. Its usage has often been vague, whether defined in terms of occupation, income, education, or social status. The definition by any author is often chosen for political connotations. Writers on the left favor the lower class, quote, working class, unquote. I understand the definitional difficulties and will be redefining the term as I make my observations. 1. Permanently impoverished families I clearly exclude from the middle class, but what about the newly impoverished? Don't they belong? If a family loses their middle class home to foreclosure or abandonment because of loss of employment, it may well have dropped below the middle class. 3. If the single breadwinner has to hold 2 to 3 part-time jobs to pay the bills, I would count them as below the middle class. 4. If someone resides in a Hooverville or regularly visits a breadline or a charitable soup kitchen or food pantry, we have another person and family who are not a member of the middle class. 5. If a college graduate or the parents are paying student loans they cannot afford and as a result are living in poverty, the fact that they have a middle class job doesn't make them a member of the middle class. 6. A family with medical bills they can't afford to pay because of a lack of health care coverage is not in the middle class. 7. And a person or family with no hope for middle class employment because of downsizing is not a member any longer. And you'll see that there are many people who are joining the middle class. 8. Increasingly, we have U.S. citizens and residents dropping out of the middle class, and at the same time the rich are increasing their ownership of the economy. That correlation is something that is intentional. 9. As the number of persons and families in poverty increases, there is a corresponding failure of the federal government to do what is needed to keep a large percentage of them out of poverty through a countless number of possible relief and educational programs that will never see the light of day. 10. I believe the government's failure is deliberate by the persons who control the government. I think it's pretty clear, but you have to be thinking about that, and I'm trying to give the reasons. 11. If this is so, why would these persons want to destroy the middle class? That's what this video intends to explore. 12. History tells us that killing the middle class is an objective of some revolutions, and Wikipedia, once again, states examples includes Joseph Stalin's mass killing of the affluent middle-class peasant kulaks, who were identified as, quote, class enemies, unquote, by the Soviet Union. Similar classicide has been committed by China during the Great Leap Forward, by North Vietnam as part of the land reform, and by the Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia. 13. The importance of the middle class is that it provides income or assets that can be used to support long-term challenges to the government and the super rich, which control the government and take the taxpayers, that is, middle-class taxpayers' money, in a variety of ways, and also through 27 million small businesses that are competitors of the rich. 14. The threat of the middle class in the minds of the super rich and the government they control justifies suppressing, that is, killing the middle class to protect the super rich. 15. This accounts for the present government policy of not providing more than a token amount of relief to the nation's 27 million small businesses, so that many of them will go out of business and drop out of the middle class, no longer financially able to challenge the government or the monopolistic businesses of the super rich. 16. The heart of the middle class existence is having the money and time to challenge the thievery of the super rich who control the government and increase their concentration of the economy ever so relentlessly. 16. The heart of the middle class existence is having the money and time, as I've said. 17. Without a strong middle class, the opposition gets down to short-lived protests or riots, police and military abuses and arrests, and fewer civil rights, less democracy, and more dictatorship. 18. Unless you are in the middle class, you won't have the time or money to get out the vote, run for office, participate in efforts to improve the condition of groups needing help, stop the ever-increasing concentration of the economy, stop the erosion of civil rights, stop the loss of jobs to other counties, or slow down global warming in time to save the planet, with the consequence that your plight as a member of the 99% only gets worse. And just to add an observation, the freedom that students have prior to their termination from, or the end of their schooling, is the freedom that is needed and enjoyed by the middle class. And that's why you see so much political activity by students. There is this time in their life which may be the only time for them to exercise that freedom. So, 19, this is what is not appreciated by too many people who have been dumbed down intentionally by government policy or by poverty. Well, I've said what I wanted to say, and I'll be back soon with my next video.